at the IC.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
John Henry's would like to remind you, if you haven't already, to unhook your outdoor hoses and check faucets for leaks so your pipes don't freeze. As the official plumber of the Huskers, you know who to call when a plumbing issue arises. From frozen pipes to clogged drains, we can help you protect your home this winter. Give
John Henry's
a call today to schedule at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Tune in to the Malone Radio Show from 9 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night to learn more about the Malone Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln. It's the Malone Radio Show every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Anarchy, which is an exciting free workout for athletes and fitness enthusiasts who want the most out of their workout. Anarchy can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in, call, or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. I'm Harrison Arns, back here at the 1040 Ticket Studios on what is a cold Thursday night. If you guys ever want to join the show, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Again, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 961. And if you got Allo cable all across Nebraska, you got ticket content. Again, all on channel 961. But Chancellor Brewington, I'll go ahead and throw it to you, as we got a guest join with us today for the first time on What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington.
Yeah, our first guest, Gavin Lychek. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Appreciate it. I'm good.
Yeah, so I met Gavin through Chris Slatt in Slatt Performance, training with him these past few months. Been a great experience. But yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself first. I know we're gonna get into the G3 performance, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so like Chance said, my name's Gavin Lychek. I'm a young sports performance trainer here in Lincoln, training out of Slatt Performance, like Chance said. Kind of just took an internship with Slatt when I was 21, and then Slatt really helped me get the chance to kind of start my own brand.
Yeah, so I guess we gotta give a little bit of backstory of who Slatt is. Chris Slatt, Christopher Slatt. He has his own training complex. I mean, is that the town? Is that in Lincoln? That it's like right outside of Lincoln, or
yeah, man,
it's borderline.
If you type it in the maps,
right,
it's gonna say Roca,
right?
But I mean, it's right outside Lincoln. It's like 5 minutes away from Southwest.
You're right. So he has his own training performance. I believe, if I'm correct, he jumped at South Dakota State.
Yes.
Jumped for Nike.
Mm-hmm.
And has trained. I mean, every good football player that probably came out of Nebraska, he's probably had a hand in training him, I would say.
Yeah. And what's even crazy is Slatt used to train me when I was trying to.
My goodness.
trying to like go to college and play sports and
Right.
stuff. And he trained Luke too. So I've known Slat since sophomore, junior year, maybe.
Jeez.
And what's crazy is who put me on Slat was one of Slat's athletes, Josh Banderas.
Okay.
So
They call him Bando.
Bando.
Okay.
Bando,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's awesome. I mean, fantastic guy. Does wonders for his athletes. Does wonders for the community in helping his athletes as well. Not only as an athlete, but also as a person. Amazing person. We try to. I mean, we gotta get him on here one day. We just do
One day
do a whole group.
He
The
will.
whole
One
group.
day.
Yeah, one day we'll do it. But yeah, tell us a little bit about G3 performance and how that came about and kind of how you transition into training and after of course playing sports.
Yeah. So I graduated with a exercise science degree at Iowa Western in May of 21, and I was on the I was on the baseball team in COVID. It was February, and we found out that our season was canceled.
Mm.
And I was like, I went back home to train, and that's when COVID hit, obviously, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And with the whole like NJCAA, like
Mhm.
they allowed people to come back, and then
Right.
our recruiting class and my class, and I was like, I'm just gonna go home and work and take care of, like, had a little bit of family stuff to take care of.
Right.
So I did that. So how G3 started was my dad, when he was still in Lincoln,
Mhm.
he had a gym out of his garage.
Oh wow.
And for I don't know, for like a year, 2 years, like all like my friends would come lift, and I always had like a pretty good knowledge of just
Mhm.
lifting, of just being in sports for so long.
Mhm.
And I started to like train them. And then after I trained my friends, my assistant baseball coach in high school, he wanted me to train his son.
Mm.
So he's really technically my first ever client.
Okay.
And then it kind of just took off from there, and it was Gav's garage gym from there.
Mm.
So I was like,
So you're training out of the garage.
I was training out of the
Okay,
garage.
okay.
I was training out of the garage
Okay.
just for no money, just to do it.
Right.
And then I graduated, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I
Mhm.
originally wanted to be a collegiate strength coach,
Right.
but I didn't want to go back to school because
Right.
I don't know, the times were different. I didn't want to go back to school. So I just started working construction jobs. I was like, man, like roofing, siding. I was like, man, this is not it. I was
Right.
18. My back felt like I was 50. Um,
Uh,
Took a couple warehouse jobs and just
Mhm.
got out of that. And then it was actually of 21, I was doing a construction job, and I would wake up every day at 4. I would work 5 to 3. I was like, man, there's got to be more to life than this. Like, I know,
Right.
like, I'm really good at training kids.
Mhm.
So I just left one day, and I went over to Slat, and I was like, Slat, do you think that this place would give me an intern? It was like, man, I'll give you an internship. So we kind of sat down, we talked logistics, and Slat really changed my life. So every day for about 7 months, I would wake up every day at 4,
Mm.
work 5 to 3, and then bust my boat over to Slat and work 3:30 to 8.
Wow. So you're working 5 to 3 in another job. Was that still construction?
Full time. I was
Wow.
so like
Wow.
the sprinklers that you see on the ceilings,
Mhm.
I was hanging that.
Wow.
So I was working 5 to 3, and then 3:30 to 8 or 9.
Mhm. So currently, what does G3 look like, and what's the goals for it coming up?
Man, right now G3 is growing.
Yeah.
It's a process. Um, it's growing. I'm really proud of where it's going.
Mhm.
I didn't know where this would take me. I don't know how successful it would have been, but it's growing, and I'm really proud of that. Where I want to be, man. I'm being honest. I don't even know. I'm just trying to be where my feet are.
Right.
Just
I
like
mean, that's perfect. Yeah.
Slat man. Slat knows a lot, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to just
Yeah.
keep my time under Slat as much as possible and
Mhm.
retain as much information.
So like, was one thing, um, becoming a new trainer, transitioning out of sports, you know that what the athlete side of it is. What I mean, being a trainer, how is it different, in how you approach things? Did you have to shift your mindset into uh, more mechanical things, knowing about the body a little bit more, or how did it change switching from athlete to trainer?
As an athlete, you know how your body works.
Mm,
but as a trainer, you have to figure out how their body works,
Mm,
and you have to put in coaching cues for them to understand. So it's not also it's more than the body; it's them understanding what's in between their head almost. If you
right, right. So when do you think it clicked? Like was it always? I mean, you mentioned previously in the garage and stuff like that, but when you're at Slats, when did you realize like, man, I could kind of do this at a high level? Because I've trained with you, and my first remarks to the guys were like, man, he can really coach. It's like Slats coaching me. So there's no drop off. It's real coaching, right? And so where did you figure out like, man, that's kind of my gift right there?
oh man, that's a good question. I guess right as soon as I first day on the internship,
Mm,
Slat let me take over the warm up, and until I got down the warm up, that's all I did. So as soon as I got down the warm up and kids were responding right away, I was like, all right, me and Slat are kind of speaking
mm,
almost the same language.
yeah.
So kids really responded.
So the variety of athletes, I know I've been in there and seen you with some baseball kids, football kids. I mean, where's your expertise at? I would say, obviously you were a baseball player, so you know the functional movements of baseball. And then
Mhm.
you add in, you guys do a lot of sprinting mechanics, and obviously sprinting is a foundation in basically every sport, right? So where would you say your how should I say the variety of athlete? How does it vary?
We got really all any type of athlete.
Right.
Like I've seen dancers come in and
Oh wow.
try to like everything correlates to each other.
Hmm.
We have a lot of track athletes, dance. We had some dancers. We have swimmers,
Mm,
cross country, football, baseball. Um, man, we just got all different types of athletes
right.
that kind of it bases off of each other.
Mhm. So I mean, we'll probably clip this and we'll mash this up and do it the right way. But obviously, for the people listening, where can they find you at Instagram wise?
Oh yeah, yeah. My Instagram is G3 Performance.
Hmm.
My Facebook is G3 Performance. You can DM me. Uh, my Facebook has my email and my phone number on there, so you can reach me there, and that's pretty much it.
Man, now that we got a good base, there was a couple of things I want to talk about. Like this new training where everyone is kind of a trainer and everyone thinks they know what they're talking about. As a trainer and as someone who knows their stuff and produces good results, like how is that? Does that bug you a little bit? That everyone can just hop online and I know you see some of the stuff on
Yeah,
Instagram and
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like what is this, man?
Um, everyone's got their own philosophy,
Right,
man.
right,
Whatever works for you,
right.
works for you. Whatever works for another person works for them,
Hmm.
and kind of just try to stay in my own lane, just
Right.
stay patient, and whatever works for you, that's really what it
And
is.
that's what it is. I'm already knowing. I'm already knowing. So you grew up playing baseball though, right?
Yeah, I was a left-handed catcher from
That's crazy.
when I was 9 until actually my senior year in high school. But my favorite sport to this day is football.
Mm,
I was a My favorite sport was football, but I was a better baseball player.
right.
So
Wow. Left-handed catcher.
man, I'll never forget when I didn't get recruited for football,
Uh-huh.
and I told you this earlier, Chance. When I went to this community college camp at Iowa Western to get my name just in the radar and just coaches
Mhm.
on my eyes, I got all my gear on, my glove on, and at the time, Coach Raridan was like, "Man, are you for real right now?" And I didn't even know what he was talking about. I thought this was normal, and I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, all the other catchers got on their right-handed glove, and I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I don't pitch. I've never pitched. I just catch. That's all
Mhm.
I know." And he was like, "All right, well, we'll see how you do." And I mean, I did pretty good. I
Right,
thought
right.
I thought I held my ground, and he was like, I just can't. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like,
Mhm.
I want you, but I just can't do it because you're lefty." I was like, "Well, what can I do?" So he was like, "If you switch to outfield, you're good." So that's what I did, and story's written.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't want to tell you about that when you were growing up about being a left-handed catcher, or is that the first time it really became a problem? Like no one
I
flirted with
mean,
that in your ear at all?
I mean, yeah, but like,
Okay.
man, I thought I was cool. I was like, no one can tell me anything. I thought I was cool. I kind of like the attention from all the other teams and all the high schools. Like, well, we're gonna steal on him. We're
Right.
gonna. I was like, man, whatever. I got y'all.
Oh man, back to training. So how I would say for baseball specifically, when you get a guy who you're trying to develop good sprint mechanics, trying to develop a good base there, how does that process start? Like, do you take them through a warm up and you see the way they run first, and kind of critique it there, and kind of can see how the body moves there, and then it goes to tread. Like, how does it work?
Yeah. So the first session typically will be an intro session, kind of see how their body's moving, if they have any deficiencies. And we have really I don't want to say complex, but really
Sophisticated, I would say. Yeah.
detail oriented warm up. So get them comfortable.
Yeah, it is very. Yeah.
Yeah, it's detailed, and get them comfortable with that, and then we'll get them learn how to get on the treadmill, because the treadmill that I have is, I mean, Chance, like, to my knowledge, there's only a couple in the area, and at Slat we have 2 of them.
Yeah.
So
fantastic treadmills.
and we just make sure that they know how to get on safe, know how to dismount safely, and then from there we just hit it rolling. Get them to understand how to run correctly, and then if they do well, then we'll move on to the hip machine, and then after the Kaiser hip machine, then we'll maybe add on some hurdle hops or some plyos, stuff like that, just to base off of each other. And one thing that's really unique about the training that I provide, or that we provide, is it's all 100% individualized.
Yeah.
Like, Luke, Luke, Nate, Buddha, you guys all got different weights, speeds, and everything.
Yeah.
Everything is 100% individualized for the athlete, for them to reach their peak performance.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's it's tough when you're in a say you're at a college facility, or you're with a team or whatever, and you don't get that individual training. Everyone is grouped into the same training. If we're doing 10-yard starts, everyone's doing 10-yard starts. But what happens when they're strong with their 10-yard starts? Their top end mechanics are bad, right?
Yeah.
So you can speak to that, of course. How important is specialized training and individualized training?
I mean, it's, in my eyes, it's honestly really important, because you run in every sport.
Yeah.
Or if, like I talk about a dance, like, you got to learn how to use your posterior chain to, hit a specific dance move or whatever, lacrosse, like whatever sport they're playing. You just got to learn how to do it, and at the max velocity that you know how to do it. And that's what's so unique about the treadmill, is the belt doesn't stop for you. It keeps going. So you got to keep running at a specific speed for 10, 8, 6 seconds. And then that's where you really build your max end speed, your max end strength, and in that posterior chain.
Yeah, we got to throw it to break here real quick, but one last question. Since we are kind of in that New Year's resolutions, and I'm sure you see a lot of people trying to get back into that in shape, what are some of those big mistakes, whether it's either overtraining or undertraining, that you see people when they're really trying to get back into that, being in shape, being fit, maybe getting back to where they were athletically? What are some of those first mistakes you see people make? Maybe pushing it too hard, or not pushing it enough?
Just finding that right balance, and just give yourself some grace, man. Like, we're all human. You miss a training day, we can readjust. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, it's important, don't get me wrong, but if you miss a training day for the weather, don't risk anything to go out of your way. Like, we'll readjust. It's just, everything's always a plan. You got to strategize, you got to execute, and then we'll go back to the plan and go from there. So just stay consistent, give yourself some grace, and just honestly, just keep going. It sounds super cliche, but super simple.
Yep.
Well said. And we'll elaborate that more as we continue with What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. We got a guest in here, Gavin, representing G3 Performance as well. So plenty left here ahead on Ticket Weeknights. We'll talk to you guys on the other side in just a little bit.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
If Ewers throws that ball to the front pylon, Texas might have tied that game up and had a chance to win it.
That moment right there, it's one of those moments that every young man dreams about. There's two outcomes in that moment. You're a gamer or you tense up.
You're a gamer or you're a goner.
Or you're a goner.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Old School with DP and J.
DPGM. What are you going to do to Caleb Williams? What are you going to do? You going to draft him?
No.
You're not going to draft him?
No, I don't. Here's my thing. I don't want anybody going. I'm not going to bring poison into my program because that's what it would be. He's letting you know he's poison. He's venom. Why would I put poison in my own soup?
Maybe you think you're a mongoose. You can't.
I have zero.
You're a mongoose. You can take the cobra venom.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Bank Strong, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights here on the 1040 Ticket Studios. I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got Chancellor Brewington and Gavin Lightchuck. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Lightcheck
to my left here. And again, if you guys ever want to join the show, 402-464-5685 as we get into the training of a G3 performance. So, Chancellor Brewington, I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, so I think I forget. Oh, we were talking about New Year's resolutions and how people can change their body. But going off that, how can what's the quickest way for an athlete? Well, actually, let's not say the quickest, because the best outcomes sometimes aren't the quickest. So how does an athlete change his body, strength wise, or just physique wise, just the eye test?
You just gotta stay patient.
Right.
Just like what we talked about before the break. You really just gotta stay patient.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that kind of, you brought up a quote that kind of came to my head when you said, like, getting there fast. It's brick by brick. You just gotta keep chipping away at it day by day, and soon enough you'll have what you want.
Yeah, because I feel like, especially in the social media age, everyone wants it fast. Everyone wants it now. Everyone wants it the way they see other people have it. But I mean, as we know, it takes a lot of work just to get in the door, and then to get through the door, that's a whole nother thing. But as far as just being an athlete, like what is it? Can you just tell when someone has it and when someone doesn't when you're training them? Is it mentally? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Is it like, oh, I got to feel it out with this one, or is it right away? Oh, there's some that this guy has that may, not to say the other ones doesn't, but it's just different about him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%. It's just like the mentality,
Mhm.
like Sethan Carter. Like, shout out my boy Sethan. I met him through SLAT, obviously, but he just don't sit. He just does not sit during a workout.
Right.
And like when he was training before he, retired or whatever, it doesn't matter how old you were. He was encouraging everyone not to sit, and just kind of instill that mentality in everyone. But yeah, like, and Sethan played in the league.
Right.
And you're training partners with Nate. Like, what inside Nate's brain is just, it's incredible.
Yeah. And obviously those athletes have to start somewhere. The Nate Garys, the Seton Carters, the Luke Giffers, the Bandos, the Rhymers, everyone, they all had to start somewhere. So I mean, it's interesting to see from your perspective, because I know you get a lot of high school kids,
right?
And you just, I mean, sometimes oh, this one's going to turn into some, but sometimes, would you say you don't know?
I mean, as I kind of go about the athlete,
Right.
I kind of think about like, hey, what's your plan here?
Mhm.
Like what do you as an athlete want to accomplish?
Right.
And then they just tell me, and then we'll try and go from there and kind of readjust, execute, strategize, just like I was talking before the break. But it's just really you got to ask the athlete, what do you want?
Mhm.
And like for example, if I said I want to go to the NBA, you're gonna look at me like, bro, what?
Yeah,
Like,
we might have to talk about this
yeah.
one. Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just realistic,
Mhm.
but not taking away people's dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Being realistic but not taking away people's dreams. Yeah. Wow, that's great. That's great.
How do you coach people through that? Because that's a tough management thing. Like you said, you don't want to push them away from their dreams, but at some point that realism probably meets them at a real level too, where they kind of see it in real time. So how do you kind of go through that with them, just kind of building up to that elite level? And when they reach those plateaus, those limitations that everyone has, what is kind of the process of pushing yourself through those plateaus?
If you're good, someone will find you. Like for me, for baseball, you had NAIA, D3, D2, D1, JUCO. Like if you're good, if you're really him, someone will find you. A scout will find you.
Right.
Like people from D3, D2, NAIA go to the NFL all the time.
Mhm.
They'll find you. So how I kind of navigate at these older kids is one, go to school where you don't have to pay money or not as much money.
Right, right.
Two, go where you're wanted
Mhm.
and where they want to use you. And three, go where it feels like home. Because essentially, like you picked Nebraska because that wanted to make you a man.
Right,
Like
right.
where it's gonna grow you as a human and a person.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point because a lot of times you get places and maybe the name gets you or maybe a coach gets you, but like you said, man, it's there's a lot more pieces to that, and that's very important. That's very important. Yeah.
And when it comes to we're talking about multiple athletes, when it comes to cross sports, that unfortunately seems like it goes away more and more. You get more and more athletes just locked in on that one sport in particular. Do you see any advantages or disadvantages? Obviously don't name names or anything, to those kids that are playing multiple sports and you see them come in and work out compared to a kid who say he's only playing football?
Yeah, I think I can definitely see a difference. It's more in the younger kids, I say, because they're still developing, they're still learning their bodies, they're still learning how to move correctly. So at some point you gotta train them as a person to be an athlete rather than training them as an athlete for that sport. So I think of different ways to train these kids to help them become more athletic and develop them more as a person to become an athlete.
Yeah, I was reading this one thing, while I was watching this one thing, and they were talking about how the best athletes sometimes just are thrown in multiple sports when they're very young, because I guess there's a certain age gap, like let's say 6 to 10 or 6 to 9, where functional movement is like the foundation is set in these certain ages to where that kind of sets you up for later in life. So I just thought that was interesting. You don't nowadays, like you said, there's not a lot of guys where, on the football team, how many guys played basketball, baseball, and football?
Yeah.
Probably not that. I mean, but back in the day, I felt like
It
there
was
was
a lot.
It
Like
was everyone.
Like even like I just graduated high school
Right.
like in 2019, so I'm not gonna say back when I was in high school, but back when I was in high school, like it was cool to be a 3-sport letter or a 2-sport letter.
Oh man,
yeah.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Get
you
the
have all
letterman's
those,
jacket.
yeah, you got all the little symbols
Right.
and the pins on you, and you were that guy.
Yeah, yeah. No, that definitely was a badge of honor just to varsity game and you see you there, and then a few months later you're playing there, and yeah, so that's definitely a badge of honor.
Now you're gonna see. Well, it's just different too, because now some of those with the esports coming around the corner too. Like a lot of these kids, that might be the second quote unquote sport they pick.
Oh, like esports?
Esports?
Yeah, I mean that thing's growing more. I'm seeing it in high schools. Like you can have football Letterman, esports Letterman. I mean, we're not
Wait,
that
wait,
far away
wait.
from it.
Wait, really?
Have you seen those high school events?
There's no way.
Oh, okay. We'll I'll send you a clip in a break here.
Really?
I'll show you a Rocket League high school match in California.
And they're like lettering?
I'm not sure where it all ranks in terms of like actual high school high school sports. Like
Right.
if they have like trophies, how official it is, if it's actually in the California sports, that's to be decided yet. But I'm pretty sure it's fully set up where they got tournaments competing against other schools.
You can get like scholarships to go play esports.
Oh my god.
We got Amon Green here. He's our esports coach at Nebraska, former Husker football player.
He's a gamer?
Yeah, Amon Green's our esports coach here in Nebraska. Yes, he teaches some intro to media classes as well. But yeah, he's our esports guy.
So explain it. I'm so out the loop. I don't even know what that means. Esports
is just gaming, competitive gaming.
So how can you coach like from Madden to Call of Duty to whatever? Is there like a fundamental coaching that you can coach all of them with?
So it kind of depends on the group. I think right now the Big Ten Conference has Rocket League.
This is in the Big Ten Conference?
Yes, the Big Ten has a conference.
I didn't know that. I
Okay.
So this is, esports is growing.
I'm locked in.
So I think it's right now they're adding Call of Duty next year, but they have Rocket League.
Is there Madden? I need to get in the Madden one.
Amon's pushing for Madden desperately.
Really?
Yeah, he really wants to get.
I'm a guy at Madden. I'm a guy.
So but that's what I'm saying. Like you could have lettered in Madden.
So you think they'll add the new NCAA?
Yeah, we're getting NCAA. They keep pushing that thing back for a good reason, I think.
To me,
that tells me it's not a copy paste.
Yeah.
Like
a GTA.
Yeah, like if they were just going to remake Madden and just put college player jerseys and uniforms and fields, like it would be done already.
Yeah.
So I think they're actually playing around with physics.
They probably got to put NIL in there too. Now they probably got to play with that because I know everyone's gonna be wanting to do their Ohio State or whatever dynasty, and then I was always Ohio State back in the day. Do you play NCAA?
Yeah, I always pick like not very good teams. Just
Really?
To,
Just to
build
get
them up and then
Like the Gamecocks, you
yeah.
could playing with South Carolina Gamecocks or Liberty.
yeah, like Liberty and then like just dog on Bama.
Yeah. That's funny. No, that esports is that's interesting. I mean, no knock to anyone who does that, but that's just very interesting. I've never heard of that.
I get worried about it a little bit just because I think esports is going to be so competitive. Like you don't see any pro esports guys like in their 30s, 40s, because there's a 13-year-old that could beat you.
Oh my gosh,
Like,
I was
they
playing
pick
an
it up so
8-year-old on Madden.
Yeah.
One time, bro, and he knew all the cheat plays. He knew I was in cover 2. I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous.
Like you got a better chance playing older in the NBA or NFL than you do in esports. So that's one thing. I feel like you're a high school athlete and you're really big on that. Just be careful. Like don't, probably try a few other sports. I think you get more out of that. I could be wrong. This is just a hard take, but I do get a little concerned about the gaming world and how addictive it is. I mean, video games are just insane now. But with that being said, we do got to go throw out the break here. Got a little bit of tangent about the esports world, but nonetheless, it is kind of on the forefront of things. So we'll throw out the break here. What's brewing with Chancellor Brewington? We got Gavin Lychuk in here as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council. Letting your children know you believe in them will go a long way toward making their dreams a reality. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. It's important to celebrate learning. Focus on the positives, reinforce good effort and determination. Children need your encouragement and support. Our public schools want every student to succeed.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong?
they find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
If Ewers throws that ball to the front pylon, Texas might have tied that game up and had a chance to win it.
That moment right there, it's one of those moments that every young man dreams about. There's two outcomes in that moment. You're a gamer or you tense up.
You're a gamer or you're a goner.
Or you're a goner.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. Host as always, Chancellor Brewington to my left, as long as the guest, Gavin Luchek, in here as well. And if you guys want to join the show, start our Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. And we'll get to a burning question on the text line. Shout out to Mike Johnson texting in. Hopefully you guys can get to Chance's high school playoff game versus Brock Purdy. We got to dive into that. We keep hinting at it. I know last time we talked about it for a little bit, and then we got carried away again. So what is this high school playoff game versus Brock Purdy about?
Yeah. So before I get into that, I got to tell the truth. And I know my coach saved me a little bit, but so 3 or 4 games before that, our safety goes down. I've never played defense in my life. Our safety goes down, and coach goes, "Hey, can you play safety this week?" I'm like, dude, come on, this is my senior year. I'm just trying to, yeah. I was full receiver, just play receiver, and then all of a sudden he was like, "Hey, I need you to play safety this week." Like, this is week 7. Like, what are we talking about? Like, and then he was like, "Look," and it was me and Buddha, right?
Yeah.
So Buddha's playing corner. He's like, "Look, you're gonna be the boundary side with Buddha. All you gotta do is we're just gonna play 2-man, right?" We played 2-man for like the first quarter, and now I'm sitting in cover 3, whatever, right? And I had a fantastic game, like 2 picks, 10 tackles, like just went crazy, right? So I'm thinking I'm good. Like that's all I gotta, just finish up that week, right? So then next week comes around, we're playing Perry. That's Brock's team, right? And this is regular season, so we'll get to the postseason game in a little bit. But I'm playing them, and coach is like, "Hey, I need you to play safety again." I said, "Coach, I will, but that's if I have to." And they're like, "Well, our guy's down, whatever." And I was like, "Okay, we're just gonna play 2-man." And he's like, "No, the game plan is different this week. You gotta play man."
So you were backup safety, or there was no backup?
There was it was a backup, but they'd rather throw me in there.
Okay,
right? Okay. So then we get to game time. He was like, "Look, we're just gonna call this one blitz where you come down and replace the nickel. We're just gonna call it one time, right? We'll call it Tiger. I'll never forget it, bro." So they called Tiger, man, and Brock sees it right away. Brock sees the nickel blitzing, bro. And Brock was such a smart football player, and he still is. And so I'm guarding the slot, and he gets a great release on me and runs it over, and I get lucky with my long arm and bat it down. I'm like, okay, got the 1-man play out the way. They called Tiger every other play the whole game.
Really?
Brock threw like 4 touchdowns on me.
Was Brock like that in high school? Did you?
Oh
okay,
my
hold
gosh.
on.
Wait, what high school were you? Real quick, I'm gonna look up the
I'm
stats.
Hamilton.
Hamilton?
Okay, my goodness.
But
we didn't need to do that.
Did you know Brock was like that in high school?
Yeah, he was Gatorade Player of the Year. Yeah. It was.
So he threw for 4. How many yards?
Oh, he probably threw for like
how many? It was an 18 year final year.
17,
18.
No, 16, 17.
Okay,
so let me look. Yeah, so 16, 17. So yeah, it was a game, bro. I remember just. How many yards? And I swear to goodness, almost every touchdown was like almost my fault.
Are you serious?
Almost every one of them.
So they played Hamilton. It was 55-21. He was 18 for 28, 482 yards in the air. He puts him at a 73 yards was his long, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 27-yard average on each of his throws.
Right.
So he was throwing deep bombs. QBR rating of 147.3.
Right. Right. So I had a rough game, man. And that was my second game ever playing defense ever, right?
At one point in the game, were you like, "Coach, like"?
No, I'm so mad because, and guess what? I'm well known in the city. So the student section, there's probably 8,000, 9,000 at the game. The student section is saying Chance got burnt. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh no.
So then we go and play. We beat some team like Peoria or something in the whatever, and we're playing them in the semis, right? So now I'm like, "Coach, I'm not playing defense. I'm playing offense, and I'm coming for blood." They're talking crazy to me.
Yeah.
They're talking crazy. And I get out for warm-ups, student section going crazy. Chance about to get burned. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my gosh, I turned up on the boys, man.
What was the stats?
I don't got that Max Prep subscription. I can't. I'm having a hard time finding this.
I want to say, I mean, I had a fantastic. Our offense was nuts that year. Jawar Jordan, Tyler Shuck, Darius. We had a bunch of guys, right? But I think I went for like 160, 2 tuds, like whatever. But it was one of the game. It was like game of the year because it was 61. It was 63-61. And for the fourth quarter, we went back and forth 4 touchdowns and tied it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so Brock went for one. Jawar went for one. I went for one. Tyler went for one. Brock went for another. Brock went for
It was
another.
just eye for an eye.
Oh my gosh, it was a shootout.
Yeah.
It was one of the best games like in probably the past like 3 years. And 60-63, and we lost on a I want to say it was a 2-point. It was like the high school tie, the tie rule. We lost on that. It was a game, man. But shout out to Brock. Like I said last time, the way he's open about his faith is something to be admirable. And he's doing his thing in the NFL, and it was no shock to the people that come from our city that he's gonna do big things. I remember he was like senior year, he's doing like drives for kids and just helping out in the community at 16, 17 years old, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
He was always just a different cat, and nothing but respect for him and his family. Chuba now is playing at San Jose State. So yeah, shout out to their whole family.
Good for him. Good for him. So is AZ football? Is it like I don't know anything about Arizona. You hear the Cali, the Florida, the Dallas, the Texas. Is AZ football like that?
I would say
I hear it's the QB hotspot.
Yeah, I would say right before COVID, I would say that was probably the height, probably from like 2014 to about 2008, 2019. Those were the Arizona prime years, man. They were amazing.
Well, with that being said, we do got to go ahead and wrap it up here, though. But before we do so, Gavin, again, if people want to get in touch with you, want to be able to work with you, what's the best way to go ahead and reach you?
My Facebook is G3 Performance. My Instagram is G3 Performance. They all have ways to message me. My Facebook has my email and my phone number. Any questions you guys may have, go ahead and shoot me, and we can sit down and talk and go from there.
Absolutely. And again, he'll make an individualized plan if it all sets up and works out for your schedule. Get that set up for you. And again, I'll have that in the podcast notes for you as well. We'll put some clips out for it. So again, this is going to be it, though, for What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. The host is always to my left, and special guest Gavin Letchek in here as well. Don't go anywhere. Well, actually, you can't go somewhere because it's going to wrap up Ticket Weeknights. But we will be back again tomorrow starting 6 a.m. with the early break. Enjoy the rest of your night.